So, folks, we have to talk about Brett Cooper. And by have to talk, I mean, I don't know, like, she seems like she's going through some stuff in her personal life, and, like, her content has kind of gone down a little bit, and I was looking at what's over on her YouTube channel, and a lot of it is just stuff I don't care about, and one story in particularly stood out as a story that I don't care about, but I think is just kind of funny in like one of the most bizarre ways I can even conceive of, which is that she put out a video titled "The Male Cheerleader Debate," and what the fuck did I just watch? It's her episode 59. The entire video is 35 minutes long, which is relatively short in, online conservative content creator time. Over half of that is dedicated to a segment titled "The NFL is Gay." It is a 20-minute long segment about how gay the NFL is, presumably because of male cheerleaders. I don't know. Let's dive into it together, because I just find this absurd, and I think it's indicative that, like, conservatives are desperate to talk about literally anything that makes their audience feel like they're still under attack and still the victims, despite the fact that conservatives currently run the government and are shaping all of the policies around all of us across the country, and they still feel the need to fabricate some kind of outrage about football being for the gays. Let's take a look, shall we?
The internet is in a full-fledged meltdown over some of the new NFL cheerleaders, and unsurprisingly, per usual, I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, but, like, is the internet in meltdown about this? Because this is literally the first I've heard about this. This is the first I have heard about this, and this video came out 11 days ago. So I haven't heard anything about people being mad about male cheerleaders in the NFL outside of Brett Cooper.
So here you have it. Here is one of the newest cheerleaders on the Patriots. This is a man swinging that thing around with his pom-poms. We also have one here.
Swanging. Okay, so usually I understand the context of this. When Brett Cooper says swanging that thing around with the pom-poms, so the thing that she's talking about is not the pom-poms. Is she talking about butt? Or is she talking about the thing? And yeah, the front thing or the back thing? Because, like, either way it's kind of weird. Like, that's weird. That either way it's weird is kind of where I'm getting at here.
On the Minnesota Vikings, and I have to say I watched that video and I thought, I mean, that makes sense. It's Tim Walz's state. Of course there would be a man running around doing jazz hands on a football field, because
I mean, let's be real. This guy would make bank at any major Republican convention. This guy would become, like, I don't know, make $100,000 at any kind of conservative gathering imaginable. Like, literally, in the gay community, conservative gatherings are known hotbeds for, like, twinkie men to make bank. I'm just stating the obvious here.
Obviously, we all saw Tim Walz at the Kamala Harris rallies running out like this. He's inspiring men on the football fields of the Minnesota Vikings. Anyway, sorry.
Well, he's also, like, an award-winning football coach. So, like, I mean, you can be salty about his mannerisms all you want. He's good at coaching football.
I just had to make that joke. So NFL season is about to start. If there is a man in your life, if you're a woman who likes football, then I am sure you know this. Men are preparing to spend Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays. I don't know if I'm missing a day. I can't even remember, but they are preparing to spend those days watching football. They should be excited, but because of the men on the football field that you just...
Men should be excited. Your man should be so excited, just rock hard at the prospect of watching a bunch of jack dudes bash into each other repeatedly. But they can't. But your man suddenly can't get rock hard anymore because suddenly there's a different kind of athletic twink on the field, and it's not it's not the quarterback, and it's not the kicker. It's a different man throwing that thing back. And when I say throwing that thing back, I'm talking about his ass.
They are instead online debating men in pom-poms. And that is the controversy that we need to dive in today. So the men in those two videos in particular have just completely taken over my social media for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, men historically have not approved of twinks dancing for them. No, sir. Don't look up the entire history of Shakespeare.
And have caused this huge male cheerleading. A lot of people are outraged over the fact that we now have male cheerleading dancers. I always get confused because I know that they are cheerleaders, but like when I was watching the Dallas Cowboys documentary, the series that is on Netflix, which by the way is excellent. If you have not watched it, you should watch it. It's very fun. There are no male dancers, but they call themselves like dancers instead of cheerleaders. So anyway, that was just an aside that I had there. Maybe that's just pregnancy brain talking. Anyway, people are outraged over the fact that there are now men taking these spots that they are.
Are they though? Are there people who are outraged about male cheerleaders? Do these people exist? Why? Like what? Like, oh, like the argument here is like, oh, they're trying to take spots away from the cheerleaders, and it's like, I don't know. I think you guys might need to look a little bit more into how like cheerleaders are paid, because like they're not making a lot of money. Yes, Jack, I am outraged. In fact, I'm so outraged I need to know where they are right now and go watch. Yeah, that'll show them.
Acting as cheerleaders. And a huge debate has broken out online with people saying this is completely inappropriate. But the other side is pointing out the fact that there have always been male cheerleaders. However, the other side's point is, well, they haven't always been this gay.
Yeah, you know, the same way there have always been men in show business, but they've never been this gay before. Who wants to tell her? They've been gay the whole time, Brett. The male cheerleaders who were doing that in the first place. Much like very heavily homosexual professions, they've been heavily homosexual the entire time. Now, are all male cheerleaders gay? No. Would I wager a good portion of everything I own that most of them are gay? Absolutely. Absolutely I would. In a heartbeat. God.
To basically just put it bluntly. And these people,
like, when I hear Brett Cooper say this, what I hear is that like conservatives are mad that like they're finding twinks sexier. Like that's the thing that I'm hearing. But anyway, I'm interested to hear where the other 18 minutes of this segment go.
Are not wrong, because male cheerleaders have been part of the sport, have been part of this activity for basically as long as it has existed. And in fact, men being on NFL teams is nothing new. I have it written down here. 11 teams actually have male cheerleaders, but I think people are more so pointing out the fact that this right here in this next video is what we are used to when we think of male cheerleaders. Let's roll the clip. So it is big, strong men lifting, twirling, throwing girls in the air, being the support systems. Like that is what we think of when we visualize male cheerleaders or men on a cheerleading team.
Yeah, and as we all know, being big and strong means that you're straight. Being big and strong, that's no gay man would ever be big and strong. No, sir. You know, they've been totally misunderstanding the man versus bear dynamic.
We do not visualize men running around twerking and shaking their butt on a foot.
So the problem is with the way conservatives visualize, because like obviously twinks have existed for a while.
Ball field. And so yes, compared to those men, the new male cheerleaders in the NFL are very gay. But what I want to talk about is
again, and I feel like this really needs to be emphasized, big, strong men are also homosexuals sometimes. this Brett Cooper right now is speaking to the cohort of like conservatives that have never ever been to like the Midwest and met gay men here. Because I can tell you guys, gay men in the Midwest, they dress like lumberjacks. And oftentimes they're yoked like lumberjacks, and very rarely
Gay
they're
men don't
actual
go to the gym.
lumberjacks.
How dare you? And they certainly would never set foot in a Christian gym like the YMCA.
Yeah, like... yeah, like... I just... The disconnect here with, like, the reality of gay men and, like, the various permutations of how gay men present themselves and what conservatives believe when it comes to gay people, it is shocking to me, you know? Wasn't there a famous artist who was gay and who drew massively jacked dudes? Was that Tom of Finland? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, it's okay. I can't show these illustrations, but yeah, it's definitely Tom of Finland. Muscly leather daddies for sure. Anyway,
grand scheme of this culture war that we have been living in, that we have been fighting in for the last 5+ years, are these boys specifically really the issue, or is it actually an issue with the bigger institution like the NFL? Now,
I love Brett Cooper's mind. It's so fertile with terrible ideas, you know, like you know, she's pioneering new ways to have terrible ideas in a conservative
Jack,
way.
Don't tell the conservatives about Bara. We don't want them in the fandom.
Don't worry, they'll never discover Golden Kamui. Thank you for the $10 dono, Paladin. But like, no, so she's like, oh, is the cheerleading gayer? No, the NFL is gayer. It's the entirety of American football that's gayer these days.
before we dive into that, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel if you've not already.
Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, bitch. That's not me calling Brett Cooper a bitch. That's me calling each one of you individually a bitch. So, like, comment, and subscribe.
And of course, ring that
Bitch.
notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on every single one of our episodes. Alrighty. So to dive into this, just to go over the facts, the decision to have these male dancers just simply does not make sense for the NFL. Just based on the outrage, it genuinely feels like...
How does it not make sense? I'm sorry, how does it not make sense? Because, Brett Cooper even talks about at the beginning of this video about how, women are seeing their men, excited to watch football season. But, hey, what if, I'm just throwing this out here, what if there were also, attractive men on the cheer line? Would that not maybe appeal to the straight women who also watch football? Maybe this could be a way to broaden the appeal of football, because that's what a company wants to do.
A bad business decision.
In order to make more money.
I don't know if this is as bad of a... oh my God, I can't even speak. Now, I don't know if this is as bad of a business decision as, say, Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light. I don't know if it is as bad as completely rebranding and destroying Cracker Barrel, if you've spent any time on social media.
So, if you're wondering what she's talking about, are the Cracker Barrels destroyed? Don't worry. Don't you worry. Okay? Cracker Barrel's fine. The restaurants still exist. Cracker Barrel changed its logo to just that horrid yellow gold color, and it said Cracker Barrel, and then it was inside a little graphic design, and they got rid of the old timey illustration of a guy next to a barrel, and conservatives acted like that was literally an attack on their ability to exist. And all I gotta say is damn, conservatives are babies. Damn, that the biggest problem in your life is Cracker Barrel's logo changing? Fuck. Clearly, your parents didn't love you enough or something. Jesus Christ. That's your big issue? I don't know. Like, grow the fuck up, right? Grow the fuck up. Logos change, like, somehow, right? Like, all of these boomer ass conservatives, right, are using Facebook, and where the UI changes like every other week, but God forbid Cracker Barrel changes a logo. You know, they're just, the UI is being tweaked to harvest their data ever more efficiently, but like, heaven forbid Cracker Barrel changes its logo. You know, the place they only ever stop on road trips.
They removed a white man next to the word cracker and she's complaining about it. Clearly Cooper is racist towards white people.
I feel attacked by my fellow honkas. And you gotta use I just God. It's truly embarrassing. It makes me embarrassed as like a white woman to be associated with these people. You know, like, I'm embarrassed to have anything in common with the folks who are crying, snot dribbling out of their nose over Cracker Barrel's logo. Like, damn, that's pathetic. Damn, that's pathetic.
Over the last couple of days, I'm sure that you've seen the outrage over that, which is...
Oh, no. If anyone was confused there, back when Hassan got banned off of Twitch for saying honky or cracker, I can't remember which, as a bit of a jest, I started saying, like, it's okay if I say it and I use the soft A, you know, for cracker or honky. You just gotta, you know, honka. I think honka is a delightful phrase. It makes me think of a clown. I think it's fine. Honka S? Exactly. You guys get it. Sorry, I had to explain some of the lore, chat.
Also very understandable and is certifiably insane. Anyway, I don't know if this business decision is as bad as those, but it's certainly...
It was fucking stupid that he got banned. Just to be clear, in case anyone was wondering where I landed on that.
Seems misguided. Now, the NFL and their teams might argue that, you know, by hiring these men, by hiring everybody's cute little gay best friends, they're just trying to be inclusive.
Wait, they're not everybody's gay best friends. They're skilled craftsmen. They are skilled, like, athletes. It's like, I'm sorry, you watched an entire documentary about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleading team, and your takeaway was that, like, oh, they're just like, I don't know, like, the friends of, like, the team owners' wives or something. Like, they aren't actually, like, athletes. They aren't actually, like, incredibly trained when it comes to, like, their bodily movements and balance and such. Like, understand that Brett Cooper demeans women in her effort to, like, bash gay people.
For the entire NFL and football audience, which, to be fair, is composed of 42% females,
Behold,
which
you have summoned
I
the
will
stabbiest quacker.
Hell yeah, Knifiest Duck. Thank you for the $5 dono.
say did surprise me. So we have this here.
Oh, yeah, you know, because you're sexist. 42% of the viewership is women, and you didn't... Maybe that's why they have male cheerleaders in increasing prominence. I wonder if these things are related.
In terms of gender representation, 42% of NFL viewers in the US are women, and then they talk about where people are subscribing and how they are watching. But in my mind, I think of the NFL as being like completely male dominated, like men would blow women out of the water, but it almost is 50-50. However, when you then get into the stats, you go even deeper, casual viewers aside, women like me who probably, like if I was polled, I would say, yeah, I watch football. Yeah, I watch NFL. Do I know anything about it? Not at all.
I'm sorry, you watch how do you not know? How do you not know about the game you're spending hours watching? It's not even like she's a fake fan. It's like if you watch one football game, that's like 4 hours of your life? How in the span of like 4 hours do you not learn about the game? But you watch more than one game, you should know about football. Like, just from the osmosis of like seeing it and seeking to understand it. Again, fascism and the current conservative moment are antithetical They are in complete opposition to intellectual curiosity.
I particularly care? No, but I'm married to a man who does, and therefore during football season, I would say, yes, I do watch football. So viewers like me aside, casual viewers aside, the core...
Oh, that's true. Zetetic? Absolutely true. My friend was a male cheerleader in high school and did quite well with the ladies, who knew that being the only guy on a team full of girls would help you meet girls. Because that is absolutely true. Some male cheerleaders are gay. The ones that aren't, though, they clean up.
Audience. People like my husband Alex and all of his friends are straight adult males. 73% of the Score fan base, by the way, are men.
Wait, I'm sorry. My husband Alex and all of his friends are straight
adult males.
How do you know that? I said how do you know that? Have you tested them? Have you tested their straightness? How straight are they? I just want to know, how did you go about assessing their straightness? Did you break out a level? Did you check their like app download history and see that they hadn't downloaded Grindr? Did you look in their medicine cabinets and see how much hair products they had? I'm just asking the question.
73% of the Score fan base, by the way, are men that are 50 years and older. Fans engage with the most intensity skew older and male. Of the 58% of Americans that do engage on a weekly basis, 73% are male aged 50 plus. So, my point in bringing all of this up is that the girls who...
Wait. 73% of the 60% are over the age of 50. Okay. So one might consider that a large portion of the women who are watching are perhaps younger? Question mark?
So, my point in bringing all of this up is that the girls who, watch RuPaul, might like theater, they want to see gay dancers, they want their gay best friend to be on the football field.
That's not why they're watching a man gyrate his hips. They're not watching that guy being like, look, it's my gay best friend that I don't have. They're watching it because they find it visually pleasing. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science here. It's just men are hot. Women are hot. People like seeing hot people. Like, it's not difficult to figure out. Like, they're hot and they're talented at using their bodies. Like, this is not difficult. Yeah, like, Lily loves stuff. Boys, BL would blow Brett's mind. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, Brett, women aren't reading the smutty manga novels about, men being in love because they just like seeing their two gay besties make out. That's not it.
They are not.
They just think men are hot.
NFL's core demographic. So again, it just seems like a dumb decision. Maybe
it's not. 42% is a core demographic, Brett. Jesus, like if 42% of the Earth stopped existing, that would be a colossal blow to civilization. If 42% of people stopped watching the NFL, they'd be fucked.
They were saying, it's 50-50. Women will love this. All of the crazy liberal women who are the most liberal base in all.
Hey, you want to know what has an even larger base among women than like that? It's women of all political persuasions who just like looking at hot dudes. At hot, physically talented dudes. That's a much larger demographic than, all the liberal women just want to see their gay bestie. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? There is like this impulse in conservative like political analysis where they just want to talk like very, 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 very much around the elephant in the room, and that is just sexual desire. People find other people attractive, and Brett Cooper just doesn't want to acknowledge that might be a major factor in who watches the cheerleaders
Women
in the
don't
NFL.
Watch the NFL. Wait, they do? Well, they're just doing it for their boyfriends so women don't watch the NFL.
I mean, it's very much that, Nomi Sunrider, right?
Of history, they're going to love this. Well, they are not your core fan base, and your core fan base right now is absolutely enraged over this decision.
Are they? Are they, though? Because I'm just throwing this out there. 50-plus-year-old men are often pretty open to experimenting or with potential bisexuality or various fantasies they might have had throughout their lives. And all I'm saying here is that you can note that of the 58% of people who watch football, 73% skew older. That tells you nothing about their sexualities. Tells you nothing about what they actually want to see, right? And I'm throwing this out there because I think it's true. A lot of guys kind of want to look at guys too, you know? Like, I'm sorry. I think that this is kind of a fact. Like, that there are a lot of older folks here in the United States that have repressed themselves for a very long time, that have various thoughts and feelings, and like, they want to look at a male cheerleader sometimes. No, Jack, never. Not even once. But like, I don't know. I don't think that's weird. Like, I don't know. I just, the denial of this is, I think, in service to a greater and more profound denial of, like, individual attraction. Can someone help me normalize femboys without sexualizing them? I feel like I struggle not making it weird. Yeah, just, I don't know, just say hi. Be like, what's up? Do you like lifting at the gym? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just like talk to them like they're a fucking human being. I think that really demystifies a lot of human interaction when you just like engage honestly with someone instead of trying to pretend you have a pre-written script for how to interact with someone. Like I think that like just acknowledging that you should leave your assumptions at the door when you start talking to somebody, I think that helps a lot. Guess that demystification helps. Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, it helps to recognize that human beings are human beings just like you're a human being. You know, you have that common ground, and, like, don't put them up on a pedestal, and you're usually going to be fine. Hi, do you like Star Wars Battlefield 2?
Now, in regards to wokeness and the culture war and what this decision, what hiring these men means for that, I have to say, I feel like I have a hierarchy of outrage. Like, there are things that really tick me off. You guys have seen that on the channel. There are also things that I'll just kind of be like, oh, like, I really don't care about that. And in my mind, when I first came across these videos and I saw them on my feed, like, gay guy.
When I first came across these videos, let me tell you something. You aren't just coming across videos of male cheerleaders twerking up a storm. That is not something you are just coming across. You are either seeking those out or you are just like absolutely like, I don't know, brain toasted, I guess, on conservative propaganda. Like, there's really no other option. If you're a normal person, you don't just come across male cheerleading videos.
Finding a place to dance, in my opinion, was a significantly smaller problem than a man demanding that everybody call him a woman and believe him a woman and then taking a roster spot from a female athlete.
You know, I love that she's like she calls cheerleaders athletes when it suits her. And, like, demeans male cheerleaders when it suits her. Like, are they athletes deserving respect or not? Setting aside the transphobia for a moment.
Feels, in my mind, when I first stumbled upon these videos, when they first popped up, they felt like two separate issues. And I'll be honest, that's probably because of my background. Like, I'm probably biased because I grew up in theater and I was a dancer for so many years. I was around a ton of male dancers and gay men. That was very normal for my childhood and my teen years and my upbringing. However, as I sat with it and, you know, reevaluated.
And then she came out as a bigot and lost all those friends, I hope.
My biases, I did see that there still is a deeper problem. And Alex and I actually got into a huge debate over this because I was saying, you know, what does it matter? Like, there have always been male cheerleaders. I was arguing on that side. I was like, I really don't care. He's not in a wig. He's not trying to be in a dress. He's not.
Yeah, you know, like, oh God. Brett Cooper is so weird to me because, like, she's a theater kid, but, like, she's an evil theater kid in, like, a very different way than I'm used to seeing, right? Like, I'm sorry, how do you grow up as a theater kid and you're, like, cool with the gays, but if the gays start putting on wigs or dressing up or wanting you to use different pronouns, you suddenly you're suddenly not okay with that. Like, that seems weird, right? Like, that just seems like, yeah, she's a fake friend. She's untrustworthy. She was around a bunch of people who were discriminated against for being received actual discrimination, and her takeaway from that was, I should be the one discriminating against them. That's crazy, right? That's crazy.
Chopping off his genitals, and Alex was like, no, it is the principle of the thing. And he's the one who brought up, the male audience and the core demographic, saying, who is this actually for? And so,
well, because some men like looking at men dancing well, and some women like looking at men who are dancing well. It's not a difficult calculation to make, actually. Like, oh, who is this actually for? Who would even like to watch this? I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Like that. I'm sorry, Brett. I'm sorry to tell you this. Men don't get virulently angry about, like, men dancing well on camera unless they are feeling threatened by that. And that feeling of threat might be that they wish they could be like that. They wish they could be dancing like that. Or it could be that they like what they see and they feel scared about that. Because in conservative circles, when that happens, the tendency is to lash out very angrily or to feign not understanding. Feign a lack of understanding. That's a more succinct way of saying that. But, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of telling.
So that debate with him made me really reevaluate everything. So I'm grateful for him. That's one of the reasons why I love him, because he always makes me
It's one of the reasons I love him. He really made me see how it's actually totally fine to be bigoted against homosexuals in cheerleading.
Evaluate things and think through everything. And when I got down to the issue, I realized that in a lot of ways he was right. Because while, yes, this is not a trans woman making everybody call him a girl and taking a spot, this still is a man invading historically women's spaces. And this girl...
You've already pointed out that historically men have been cheerleaders. So you've already invalidated that specific point that you're now trying to champion. You brought it up like 2 minutes in.
This TikTok sums up everything perfectly. Just watch.
The historic purpose of male cheerleaders has been to throw and catch flyers so they don't brain themselves on the floor. These guys couldn't throw a water balloon. These are guys posing as girls. These are dudes who are shaking curves that they don't...
Oh, fuck. They're gonna bamboozle our men. Our men are gonna be seduced by these foul temptresses, these foul homosexual temptresses. Like, this is insane.
Has been to throw and catch flyers so they don't brain themselves on the floor. These guys couldn't throw a water balloon.
I bet these guys are strong as fuck. Number one.
These are guys posing as girls. These are...
Also, like, I'm sorry, but if you see a man in wearing tight pants and a long sleeve shirt, and you're like, he's posing as a girl. Like, I'm sorry. That says so much more about you than it does about them. Like, that's insane.
Dudes who are shaking curves that they don't have the way that a woman would. And once...
I'm sorry. This man has curves. This man's got curves. Shut the fuck up.
Once again, these are males taking a female spot on a cheerleading squad, because apparently the left believes that there is absolutely nothing that women should not have to sacrifice.
Okay, question. Does the left own the NFL teams? Hey everybody. Overwhelmingly, what political persuasion are the people who own NFL teams? Oh, that's right. They're all conservatives. They're all goddamn conservatives. The left isn't making these choices. Business people are making these choices because they think having male cheerleaders is going to make them more money. That's the calculation. It's not hard to figure out. I love that Brett Cooper is treating this like it's a goddamn conspiracy that like people like looking at attractive athletic people. That's all sports.
To men. Now look, I know I'm not a cheer squad's target demographic here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot imagine that male NFL fans find anything appealing about a skinny little queer dude flapping his pom-poms in the breeze.
I'm correcting you because you're wrong. Yes. Are you familiar with the hit film, the largest hit film on Netflix currently? TikTok user at Desert Drifters. Desert_Drifters. A name that fills me with so much confidence that you know about what you're talking about. Can I just throw out that these are the male leads of the largest film in Netflix history. These are the male leads of the largest, most successful film Netflix has ever produced. Just throwing that out there. And it's a good movie. You should all watch K-pop Demon Hunters. But like, yes, people like pretty boys. People like attractive men. Like that's not a difficult concept to wrap your head around. But like, understand that what Desert_Drifters is trying to put out there is like, you mean to tell me that people enjoy watching attractive people? In what world? And it's like in like all of them, in all of them, in like all of them. My outrage Adar tells me my viewers get mad at male cheerleaders. Quick to the anti-woke mobile. Also, wasn't Bush a cheerleader at Yale? Bush was a cheerleader at Yale. Yep. It's crazy, right? Here. Also, look, maybe some full body shots are necessary. They're literally a bunch of Twinkie dudes. Leads of male leads of the most successful movie in Netflix history. But sure, no one would ever want to watch a Twinkie dude dance well. Ignore literally all film and television history. It's just so bizarre. We're not even halfway through her argument about how gay the NFL is.
Exactly. I think that she completely hit the nail on the head here because the left genuinely believes that there is nothing that women should not have to sacrifice to men. And women...
There's no sacrifice being made here. It's a financial decision by the people who run this business. And they're doing it because they think they can make more money. There isn't like a woke left council that was like, and now we will have more male cheerleaders. We will make their shorts a 1/4 inch shorter and make their asses a full inch bigger. Like there's no leftist council that's doing that.
Around the country, around the world, and Western cultures have convinced themselves that allowing men into their spaces is peak feminism. That actually is a quality that everything we have fought for. Getting ourselves private spaces, having safe spaces just for women, having gendered spaces, that we can throw all of that out of the water because there is somebody else who is more of a victim than we are.
By the way, literally the same arguments were deployed about, integration against like black people and white people using the same bathrooms. Literally the same arguments. Like it's just nuts.
Oh no. How will women ever recover from not being forced into traumatic injuries at age 15 because padding would make them less sexy? Also,
Sadly, women and men are probably still going to get horrifically injured at age 15. We live in a truly disgusting society. To roller of eyes, K-pop Demon Hunters is literally the most watched film in Netflix history, and it's been out for like a couple months. About 250 million views as a film. It's I don't know. It's a pretty big deal.
I was just talking about my outrage hierarchy, but on the left, there is a victim.
Also, one of the first movies to put K-pop at the top of the charts in the United States, so that's pretty cool.
Hierarchy. And this is what we are seeing in action. Now, that could be, slots on a sports roster, spots on a women's dance team, private locker.
I would, by the way, highly recommend K-pop Demon Hunters. I know it's completely beside the point, but I really like the movie and the soundtrack.
Rooms, dorms, etc., all of that. We are expected to just hand over and graciously offer to men regardless of whether they wear a wig and a dress or whether they are just gay. And whether or not a man believes that he is a woman, it is still a man infringing upon a woman's female space. Now, thankfully, none of this is anything that you would have.
All of that's insane because like it's not men infringing on women's spaces because like the football field is a co-ed space. Men play football on the football field and cheerleaders are also on the football field, and like that it's a co-ed space, and they aren't putting the male cheerleaders in the female changing room. Like none of that makes sense. This argument is stupid and bad.
Have to deal with if you attended Grand Canyon University. Now, Grand Canyon University is a private Christian university in
Oh, thank God. Finally, people can learn how to be as uneducated as Brett Cooper. Look, you can learn how to be a nurse. Look at this nurse with her degree at the university, joyously denying healthcare to this man. Ho ho ho! You had gay sex 30 years ago? I'm not helping to treat you based on my religious principles. I hope you enjoy dying in hell! That's what your degree's good for. Have you ever wanted to be someone who could mansplain things to an entire room full of people? Look no further than Grand Canyon University. Look at that! They're all pointing and laughing, looking at a real university, because they've been educated wrong. At Grand Canyon University.
Brett just wants turf capitalism, with the biggest lean toward anti-gay capitalism. Why are toilets so woke? Also, here is $5.
Logan Hill, thank you for the $5. And also, I am waiting for the inevitable Brett Cooper segment where she rails against the wokeness of like bidets or something. Like like she's gonna discover like a decade-old ad for the Squatty Potty, and she's gonna make a 30-minute long segment talking about how like everyone's upset about the Squatty Potty. All of my friends are angry and upset, and I talked to my husband, and he said, you know, who is this even for? Who's squatting while also pottying? Why, just wipe your ass with your hand like a real man, and then don't wash your hand because that would make it too gay.
As of September 2024 dreams. The Grand Canyon visit doing ads for GCU because I can just slide them in wherever because there is so much insanity when it comes to young people and education, and GCU cuts through all of it, so I always appreciate being able to add them in.
What are you saying? Brett, what are you saying? Like, oh, the world's just so insane that I can just nonsensically slide in my ads anywhere because nothing matters anyway? Like, what are you talking about? You were talking about male cheerleaders. That has nothing to do with Grand Canyon University.
Anyway, this idea that has been printed on modern women's brains that we have to give everything up to men, it has completely turned our culture upside down. I mean, like just yesterday, Riley, she posted a screenshot from a sorority Instagram page. I believe that this is from Loyola. And they are now calling the sisterhood round of rush, that's a part of rushing for a sorority, they are now calling it the siblinghood. You can see siblinghood
Hi
round.
and welcome to Grand Canyon University Medical Treatment 101. Repeat after me. I refuse to treat this patient based on my firmly held religious beliefs.
Paladin, thank you for the $5 dono. And also, like, unironically, could someone be a registered nurse who just refuses to treat all patients based on firmly held religious beliefs? Is that could someone do that? Like, that sounds like something a Nathan For You like business would be based on. Like, get trained as a registered nurse, but then receive a paycheck by doing nothing, citing your firmly held religious beliefs at every opportunity. Sorry, that's against my religious beliefs. Paycheck, please. Paige Larson, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate you folks. Also, are we, Brett, are you really calling out like one sorority talking about siblinghood? Cause like we're talking about a fucking group of adults, man. Like, Jesus. Imagine being butthurt about the goings on in a sorority you were never a part of. Imagine giving a single shit about that.
Now, the only reason they're doing that is because sororities around the country aren't just for women anymore. No, they can't be offensive by calling it the sisterhood, because what if
They absolutely can still call it the sisterhood. Imagine being upset because you imagine that sororities aren't talking about sisterhood anymore. This is all just vibes-based outrage. This isn't even based on real shit.
a man wants to join? What if a man puts on a dress and decides that he wants to rush for a sorority? Well, then, of course, as women, we have to accept that. And not only accept it, but we have to graciously open our arms and pretend like all of this is normal.
Wait, but sororities don't accept everyone who pledges to the that's not how that all works, actually. That's not how that process works.
Right-wingers want to take away women's votes, but no, the real threat to women's rights is the word sibling being printed on a single poster.
Also, she's trying to be upset about siblinghood on a Instagram post, but like if a trans woman is joining a sorority, that's still a sisterhood. They don't start calling it a siblinghood. They still call it a sisterhood because trans women are women. You know, if you're a normal person and not like a complete like bigoted freak like Brett Cooper, like a trans woman's just a woman. So like it's still sisterhood.
Now, I also want to say that this is not just a women's issue. And this is why I said I don't think that it's just about...
Due to my religion's dedication to the notion of reincarnation, I absolutely refuse any life-saving treatment, as I feel I am denying my patients a better life.
Thank you for the $5 dono, Salmon Moose. I appreciate you.
These boys that are on the cheerleading teams, I think that this is a much broader issue because men's spaces have been invaded too, and I never want to...
Oh my god. Don't forget the men's spaces being invaded. All of those men's spaces being invaded.
Thanks for watching, Brett Cooper. Today's topic: the Snuggie promotes gay agenda. The bio male on the box is wearing one, and snuggling is a female role. Brett Cooper is part of the very prestigious sorority Kappa Upsilon Nu Theta.
Oh, Paladin, thank you for the $5 dono and an excellent joke. Knifeus Duck, thank you for the $5 dono and another excellent joke. I really appreciate it. Also, I just want to point out, I know that there is a certain percentage of you that whenever I go over like Brett Cooper content, you're just like, oh my god, why? Why the fuck do you spend time talking about this lady? And part of the reason is because, well, she has like 1.6 million subscribers, and she regularly posts content of this caliber that is just as bad. And very rarely is she getting any pushback on it because she covers a lot more pop culture topics, right? And part of the problem I have with that is she gets views. You know, like Ben Shapiro these days is not doing so hot when it comes to views and engagement. Brett Cooper has actual attention from people who regularly engage with her content. This video that we're watching, where she spends 20 minutes talking about how the modern NFL is just so gay and how could anyone be interested in watching hot guys dance, has 250,000 views. And because like the way she organizes her content, like there's not as much pushback, and I want to provide some of that pushback. Is it just because she's pretty? I don't think it's just because she's pretty. I think it's because she like taps into more pop culture issues. You know, like she regularly talks about like Justin Bieber or like, you know, the latest celebrity trials or what have you. And I have no interest in really talking about that content, but underneath that layer of her content, she frequently talks about other topics, and I think that those are worth engaging with.
Why isn't ICE, the National Guard, defending women's spaces? Thank you for attention to this matter.
It's the most pressing matter of our day. Also, Logan Hill, thank you for the $5 dono. How many views? How? Why? Again, this is why I want to provide some pushback and just be like, hey, this is a load of horse shit. Like, I want to point as many fingers at Brett Cooper's content and just be like, this is a load of unadulterated horse shit.
To ignore that. I mean, think about the destruction of scouting. What happened to the Boy Scouts, especially?
I mean, that's a great question to ask, and unfortunately, the answer is a lot of like child grooming. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Brett Cooper is not going to talk about the proliferation of sexual misconduct and grooming and abuse, and is instead going to talk about how the Boy Scouts now allow girls to be in the Boy Scouts, and it's just called the Scouts now.
After women were invited in. However, Girl Scouts remains intact. We didn't just get rid of Girl Scouts and have a non-gendered scouting program. No, Boy Scouts was what fell. And Girl Scouts...
Well, Girl Scouts still allows anyone to join. Like, boys can now join the Girl Scouts. That was Matt Tatiahu. I guarantee you, I did not pre-watch this.
Remained. The YMCA is opening up and allowing women to join.
Yeah, the YMCA should have been kept a place for the strong, masculine men, where they could be themselves around other strong, masculine men.
While the YWCA still exists around the country and only accept women. Well, I say they only accept women, however, maybe not in 2025, you show up as a man in a dress, maybe they will let you in if you really want to be in the YWCA. But the point stands the same. Girls on boys' high school football teams. I remember doing an entire comment section episode about that, about how ridiculous that was, how unsafe it was, how important it was for...
Also, what's wrong with a non-gendered program? Well, she thinks that having non-gendered programs is degeneracy. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, she thinks like having like one program for boys and girls is like a sign of cultural degradation. And that's bad, and it's weakening our society to have boys and girls do activities together. Also, Mr. Malachite, you are very correct. Girl Scouts and the Scouts both do very different activities.
Men to have their own spaces. There's also something happening in Australia right now. I saw a lot of commenters pointing towards this in Australia, where there is a huge push to make the few remaining all-boys private schools into co-ed schools for equality. And I believe that in...
Oh no, the horror. What will all those all-boys schools do now? They'll have to put a stop to their boys-only activities. No. Realistically, I want Brett Cooper to like sit for a moment and think, like, what is being lost when boys and girls have to learn subjects together? What is being lost? Those all boys private schools are terrible experience because they're all boys. Yeah, it kind of seems to me like rather than providing the boys with something really special that gives them a leg up in the world, it actually harms boys because they then don't know how to interact with girls because they're being raised specifically to view girls as like a separate, secret thing that they're not allowed to talk to instead of just, equals who are also human beings just like them. Yeah, I am a firm believer that learning to interact with other people is a really important quality to learn. In fact, maybe one of the most important qualities to learn as you're growing up.
In the entire country of Australia, there are only, I think it's fewer than 300 all-boys schools remaining, and all of the...
Oh no, the horror!
The thing neither she nor any conservative will ever admit is that the vast majority of same-gender assault comes from straight people.
That's true. That is true.
The other ones have been turned into co-ed schools. Like, this is ridiculous. This is not just a women...
Why is it ridiculous? Wait, why is it ridiculous to ensure that, like, boys and girls can go to the same schools? This seems like such a non-issue to me. This seems like such a, like, obviously they should go to the same schools. Like, if you have a private school and boys can go there, girls should also be able to go there. If you have a private school, like, boys and girls should both be able to attend. This isn't rocket science. This isn't like wild. And if you think that it's really important to have them separate, I want to hear why you think that. Because Brett Cooper just keeps saying, it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. But why do you think it's ridiculous?
Women's issue. I think we often talk about it as just a women's issue because obviously there is a safety element there for women. We talk about Title IX a lot. That becomes, very amplified when you look at women's sports and the women that are being, actively hurt by all of this. But this also hurts men in a completely different way. Men and women both need gendered spaces. They need spaces where they can just go.
But even if you accept that premise for bathrooms, for example, why would someone accept that for a school? At what point does it stop being beneficial, right? In Brett Cooper's world, should there be boys' towns and girls' towns? No girls allowed in one city and the next city over, only boys? Or no boys allowed? I'm taking it to another level, but that's to emphasize how stupid this idea is, right? At what point does this separation of spaces in her mind stop having utility? And what exactly is the utility?
Be with other men and other women and do female and male things like being on an all-girls cheerleading team.
But you can do that amongst yourselves. That's your decision on who to be friends with. That's your decision on who to associate with. That's different than a team that is being run as a business or a nonprofit that needs to have services available to the public. The entire reason these spaces are being integrated is because these are places of essentially public accommodation where people should be able to go if they want to make use of those services. That's it. If you don't want to associate with a bunch of dudes, you don't have to. You can choose to just associate with girls. You can choose to just associate with boys. But this idea that these private organizations and businesses should also capitulate to your preference of association, that's ridiculous. Just fucking leave. God, these conservatives tell me to get out of the country all the time. Oh, you hate it so much? Why don't you fucking leave? Go to Cuba or something. They can't even conceive of just okay, have an all-girl friend group and do your girl activities in there. Instead, they're no, you all have to do girl activities in your groups that you all run that I have nothing to do with. This is nuts.
It's not just for safety or privacy, but it's for healthy socialization and development and just societal normalcy of having those gendered spaces. Now, to go back to the NFL after that entire...
Also, these kinds of spaces that you're talking about are a relatively modern invention. Up until the early 1900s, bathrooms were just fucking bathrooms. Anyone would piss and shit in. There was an era in the 1800s where there were monetized bathrooms where you had to pay to go in and use them. But the idea of gendered spaces like this is a very new invention and not rooted in historical historicity, I guess.
Rant. My point of bringing that up, like I said, was that I definitely had a bias going into this story, and I had to reevaluate that, which I think is really important, especially after I remembered that I had done that entire episode about a high school football team where a girl was on there, and I was so outraged over that. And I was why am I not keeping the same energy with this?
You did an entire episode about being angry at a high school girl for being on the football team? Oh my God. This is a grown adult person. Brett Cooper's a grown adult person who spends her days screaming about children playing high school sports. And not even a girl playing high school football. That was your full episode front page dedication. That's insane. These people are weird losers. Do you guys understand? When I talk about Brett Cooper, when I talk about Donald Trump, when I talk about Matt Walsh being fucking weird antisocial losers, this is what I mean. Normal people who have normal thoughts and feelings and who like go about their day-to-day business, caring about their neighbors and like looking to make ends meet, they are not spending their time giving one single shit about whether or not there's a girl on the local football team. They don't give a shit. And to the extent that if any of them do, they're weird. If you met someone in your neighborhood and they were going on and on and on about one high schooler on the football team, you would think that that's freak behavior.
Last one. How about we care about assaults in any space? Nope. It's a Title IX problem. This shit is just gun rights directed elsewhere.
I'm not sure I follow Logan Hill. I think I understand the thrust of it. Yeah, it is just all constant misdirection. Care about anything else other than the encroaching, military occupation of your local area, Don't think about that. Don't think about it.
Obviously, it was because I was a theater kid, so I'm glad that I, reevaluated that. But to, scale back and look at this from a bird's eye view, back to the NFL, the point is, in my opinion here, the girls who are fawning over drag queens and their gay best friends, they are not watching the Minnesota Vikings. They might see this on TikTok.
They are, though. Like, statistically, some amount of them are. And some bean counter at the NFL has, and in the various team or companies and orgs of the NFL, they've decided, oh, wait, this will bring us X percentage more, viewership. And so they're adding male cheerleaders. That's it. That is the calculation.
I can go, oh my gosh.
To Brett Cooper, it's an insane, unbelievable thought that liberals or left-leaning people might watch sports. Insane. And it's because they cannot conceive of left-wing people as actual human beings.
Yes, snaps. This is so amazing. They are not tuning in to watch your football games. They do not care. It is their boyfriends who, even if they are Democrats, I assure you, even the most liberal male NFL fan, that man does not want to see a twerking man gyrating on their TV on the sidelines. Like, keep that.
Yeah. No men on the left would ever want to see a man dance provocatively. No, sir.
It's a working man gyrating on their TV on the sidelines. Like, keep that dancing for Beyonce's backup dancers, for a Taylor Swift tour. That is totally fine. That is permissible.
Wait. So let me get this straight. The liberals in your mind, they love seeing the hot male backup dancers twisting and gyrating at a Taylor Swift concert, but on the football field, they hate that. They just get so mad about that. Keep your man dances for T-Swizzle. Oh god, this really feels like the stupid sexy Flanders bit. Is that a reference people get?
That is normal in that space. Nobody would bat an eye. But bringing it into a male-dominated space, onto a women's team, that is where things change. Now, in my opinion, while we're talking about the NFL...
But that's the point that is being made with the it's not a women's team. It's a co-ed team. That's the point. If there are male cheerleaders on the cheerleading team alongside the female cheerleaders, it's just one team. It's a co-ed cheerleading team. That's it. It's not a women's space if it's fucking co-ed. That's fine. It's also not a space. It's a fucking football field.
I feel like I need to bring this up. What is gayer than all of this is the fact that the NFL this year is now forcing teams to put social justice warrior taglines in their end zones. And that is why I think...
What are you talking about? Who gives a shit?
I think that this is a bigger institutional problem with the NFL, and it's not just about these individual guys. Now, just read this tweet here. This is from Breaking 911. All 32 NFL teams will again this year be forced to stencil a social justice message in their end zones.
Oh no. Oh no. It's so horrible to see Oh no, not end racism. Ah, damn it. We can't be racist at football games anymore. Stop hate. Aw, damn it. We were all gonna bring a bunch of hate to the football game. Choose love. No, I won't let your socialist ways be forced upon me. Inspire change. Inspire change in my ass. It takes all of us. Oh, to do what, you bastards? You commie scum bastards? Like, who's mad about this? Like, I'm sorry, who the only people who are mad about a sign that says end racism are the racists. That's it. Those are the only people who are upset about that. Like, it's kind of one of those things where, like, you know how sometimes you see like a have a good day like sticker or a sign or something, and like it doesn't make your day better, not particularly, but like it's kind of better than the alternative. It's kind of better than like people like telling you to fuck off, right? I don't know. I think this is fine. I think ending racism probably a good thing.
They must choose from the following options. End racism. Oh, yes. Stop hate. That's so profound. Choose love. Inspire change. It takes all of us.
Hell yeah.
Guys, if you thought we had fully eradicated wokeness in 2024 when Donald Trump won, no, you would be sorely mistaken.
If you're okay, so just genuine question. Okay. And this goes out to all of the conservatives who hate watch my show, you know? If you see a sign that says end racism and you're like, that's woke, is ending racism itself like a woke concept? And if so, does that mean if you are not woke, you're on the side of racism? You're on team racism? And I'm asking this because I'm genuinely like a bit confused on this when it comes to your side of things, because I think a lot of conservatives seem to paint themselves as like heroes of some kind, like, oh, we've gone too far with this woke messaging. But like, are you guys actually racists, or are you just mad at people talking about racism? And if so, why are you mad? Like, either racism is a problem or it's not. And like, if you think that racism just doesn't exist, like, then why are you mad about saying end something that you think doesn't exist? Like, I don't know, like if somebody said end tooth fairies, I'm not gonna get upset about that because tooth fairies ain't real. So what are you upset about? When we make fun of the liberal lawn signs, we're coming at it from the leftist critique of these people don't really care about intersectional issues. They're just hiding behind identity lip service difference. Indeed.
I read this tweet and I literally feel like I am still in 2020. Now, if I was a team, I was looking at this and I was reading all the comments, I would be picking the most vague of these messages. I think I would be doing inspire change and it takes all of us, because what is it? What are we trying to do? What change?
Wait, so why would you want to be vaguer? Why would you not want to be more specific and talk about like ending racism? I think, you know, I have a pretty like normal educational background. Like, ending racism it would be a good thing. Martin Luther King Jr., like with the civil rights movement, did a good thing. Like John Brown did a good thing. Like the war to end slavery, ending slavery was good. These are good things that moved us closer to ending racism. Like, I think that's good. Does Brett Cooper not think that was good? I don't know. Dowrimba, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Boy Meets Minnie. Hello, Alex Rivas. Hello, Dowrimba.
Change are we inspiring? It could be anything. It could be anything at all, so I cannot wait to see.
And like, I think that Brett Cooper probably is racist, but like, I want to know how these people justify it to themselves. Like, what is happening in their brain pans?
What these individual teams choose to do, and I will judge them based on what message they stencil into their end zones. I just want these teams to know that I will be judging you based on what you choose.
But you've only argued against Like why should these teams care about you watching the sport? Your entire argument throughout this segment is that women don't really watch football, and the NFL should disregard the thoughts and opinions about that women bring to the sport because none of it matters. And you also said you don't really understand football either, so like, who gives a shit if you judge them for the slogans that are stenciled on the field when you're not even one of the core demographics, Brett? That was literally one of your own arguments.
Now, this is not the teams deciding to do this on their own volition. The NFL mandates these messages via its Inspire Change initiative. And the decision makers include the commissioner, Roger Goodell, SVP Anna Isaacson, and the joint committee. So just know that
those slogans are there because it's a fucking NFL event. Yeah.
Everything that you are seeing in the NFL, if you are a man and you are going, what is happening to my...
No. The individual teams are making hiring decisions about male cheerleaders. Each team can decide to have male cheerleaders or not have male cheerleaders. That's why, as you acknowledged earlier in your video, 11 teams have male cheerleaders, which is not, I'll note, all of the teams, because it's not mandated by the NFL.
My favorite sport, what is happening to this institution? It all seems so backwards. That is a top-down approach. Matt Walsh has been a staunch defender of football. If you go on his X, he's always debating with people over sports. There are a lot of people on the right who basically say that the right should give up on sports, that they should give up on football and walk away because it's all so woke, it's so gay, it's a ridiculous hobby, we shouldn't care. And Matt makes a really important argument to say, no, this is an integral part of American culture. This is an integral part of men's lives. This sport, playing this sport, loving this sport, whether it's football or another one, that is integral to our culture and to men's lives. And we should not just give up on that. And another thing that Matt often points out that I think is really important is that, yes, while the institution is so crazy and while the teams will do ridiculous things like hire a male cheerleader and have him gyrating on the field, most of the players that you see, like, they are men of faith. They are family men. They are vocal about their faith. I feel like I've done so many.
Yeah, they're all men of faith, which is why it's totally fine for women to dance and gyrate promiscuously on the field. Wait. So it's only fine for the women to be dancing promiscuously on the field because the men of faith are on the field. But I guess the men of faith might be more uniquely vulnerable to the gyrating of a male ass, I guess, is the argument here somehow. I don't know. It seems like a bad one. She's so wrong all the time. How? But that's like my point. That's why I like going over these, because it's just constantly wrong. Just constant, like a drivel coming out constantly. Jack, men don't need an unsafe sport where CTE is super common. They need critical racing theory, raise hell, praise Dale. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Boy Meets Minnie.
Many episodes over the past, couple of years about incredible coaches, incredible football players who are incredible examples for our culture and for our society. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, because while the NFL might be insane, there are still great things about football. And if I could offer the NFL any advice, it would be that...
Again, why would the NFL take your advice, considering you have just spent the last 20 minutes talking about how women literally know nothing about football and should not be taken into account when making football-related decisions. But okay.
They should be mandating that everybody use Balance of Nature supplements, because that would be far healthier.
Well, that was a really smooth transition into an ad. And I guess that's just the end of the segment.
Get started with your free debt analysis in just 30 seconds at PDS. Since this episode has been all about the gays thus far, I thought we could take it a step further and talk about a show that I just watched on Netflix. Now,
I'm okay. We don't need your media takes, Brett. That was already way too much time to dedicate to Brett Cooper. But sometimes I just gotta indulge a little bit. It's Labor Day. What better day to give birth to such a terrible segment. Anyway, Brett Cooper is still terrible, and I feel like I ate too much pizza. Both literally because I had pizza before stream, and also this just feels gross in my brain. This made me homophobic. Oh, her arguments were that good, huh?
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.